Dr. Roberts, but I'm not.
I want it.
My nose is 0.2 millimeters too narrow, and my cheekbones are 0.4 millimeters too high.
I want it too.
I do television commercials. They want a certain look.
Hi, I'm Cindy. I'm the perfect female type. Hi, I'm Cindy. I'm the perfect female type.
You don't know what's going on. This is more than commercials. They're killing all the girls that are perfect.
I did surgery on several girls a few months back. There have been some suicides.
What have you got me mixed up in? I have a right to know if somebody's trying to kill me.
Don't look at the screen.
If looks could kill, Looker.
What if I told you that more than 40 years ago, a science fiction movie predicted deepfakes, virtual influencers, digital celebrities, and AI-generated advertising? Sounds like something written after the rise of social media, but it wasn't. It was released in 1981. The movie was called Looker. Today it's mostly forgotten. It wasn't a blockbuster. It isn't discussed alongside Blade Runner, The Terminator, or Back to the Future. Yet its central idea may be one of the most accurate technological predictions ever put on film. And the strangest part is that we're living in the world it imagined. Released in 1981 and written and directed by Michael Crichton, the same Michael Crichton who would later create Jurassic Park, Looker begins as a mystery thriller. Dr. Larry Roberts, a Beverly Hills plastic surgeon played by Albert Finney, discovers that several of his model clients have died under suspicious circumstances. As he investigates, he uncovers a shocking secret involving an advanced technology company called Digital Matrix. The company's goal is simple: replace real people with digital ones. In 1981, that sounded absurd. Today, not so much. The movie proposes that a person's physical appearance can be scanned into a computer. Once that scan exists, the company can create a perfect digital version of that person. They can appear in commercials, they can pose for advertisements, they can sell products, and eventually they don't even need to be real anymore. Think about that. Long before Instagram influencers, TikTok creators, AI-generated models, deepfakes, virtual celebrities, Looker was exploring the same concepts. The movie imagined a future where image and identity could be digitized and manipulated. That's no longer science fiction. It's Tuesday. One of the reasons Looker is so fascinating is that it wasn't created by a filmmaker known for fantasy. It was created by Michael Crichton. Crichton built his career by looking at emerging technologies and asking a simple question: what happens if this actually works? Long before Jurassic Park explored genetic engineering, Crichton was writing about computers, automation, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and the relationship between people and technology. Unlike many science fiction writers, he wasn't interested in distant galaxies or centuries in the future. He preferred to examine technologies that were already beginning to emerge and then imagine where they might lead. That's exactly what he did with Looker. In 1981, computer graphics were primitive. Most personal computers were little more than curiosities. The internet as we know it didn't exist. Yet Crichton envisioned a world where computers could create realistic digital versions of people, where advertisers could manipulate images with incredible precision, and where technology could blur the line between reality and illusion. What makes this remarkable is that he wasn't predicting specific products or companies, he was predicting a trend. He understood that as computers became more powerful, images would become easier to alter, duplicate, and eventually generate from scratch. Today we live in a world of AI-generated photos, virtual influencers, digital actors, deepfake videos, and synthetic voices. The details may differ from what Crichton imagined, but the direction was astonishingly accurate. Looker wasn't just a thriller. It was another example of Michael Crichton doing what he did best, looking at a small technological possibility and recognizing the enormous consequences that might follow. In many ways, the world of 2026 feels much closer to Looker than it did to the world of 1981. Another thing Looker got right was the idea that personality could eventually become less important than image. In the movie, advertisers don't care about the models as people, they care about appearances. The goal isn't to work with a person, the goal is to own a brand image. Fast forward to today and we see influencers, virtual influencers, AI-generated brand ambassadors, and social media personalities who exist primarily as digital identities. Some aren't even real people.
Artificial intelligence influencers are a growing industry, with some AI models gaining hundreds of thousands of followers and getting increasingly lucrative sponsorship deals. Aitana is one of the world's most popular AI models, known for her stylish pink hair. The BBC's cyber correspondent Joe Tidy reports.
A photo shoot with no model. She's not late though, she doesn't exist. Aitana is an AI model. Since she was created around a year ago, she's amassed a big following and is making thousands a month for her Barcelona-based agency.
We intend to always try to make it as similar as what an influencer would do. We take a picture with me in the image and we have to replace it with AI. So we have to play a little bit with lights and shadows to make it as real as possible. Maybe the Barcelona as the background is going to be more interesting.
Touch-ups used to take around a day, but now it's a few hours because of how the AI's improved so much. Here's the final product. The studio says they can get thousands of pounds a month for sponsored posts and endorsements with Aitana. Her virtual life is built for her mostly male fans, a key demographic for these AI models. Some find the message they're sending to boys and girls troubling.
I see huge issues with the rise of AI models and influencers. I think they're setting an unrealistic beauty standard that is close enough to being real that a lot of people who follow them don't realize they're not real, especially teenagers, young teen girls.
Aitana is marketed as a fitness-loving woman who lives a healthy lifestyle. She's even been sponsored by nutrition and sports brands. Is there a problem where you're promoting a body image of someone that is, in many ways perfect, and there are some people, some of your followers, that say, I wish I had that body?
In the beginning, we tried to make more curvy models, for example, or more not standardized models, and clients didn't like that. But you can see this everywhere in publicity. Comparing her to the rest of the influencers, she looks the same as the rest.
The agency started creating more models with more diverse looks, including some men too, although apparently marketeers aren't as interested in male AI models. The latest project is for a major car company. The brief is to design an AI model to be the face for an in-car AI voice assistant, a very 2024 assignment. Joe Tidy, BBC News.
The concept may have evolved differently than Michael Crichton imagined, but the underlying idea is strikingly familiar. The image became the product. One thing modern viewers need to remember is that Looker arrived before CGI became mainstream. This was years before The Last Starfighter, Terminator 2, Jurassic Park, Toy Story. Most people have never seen realistic computer-generated imagery. The average viewer in 1981 simply didn't have the technological context to understand what Crichton was talking about. Today we see digital media every day. In 1981 these ideas seemed almost impossible. That may be one reason the movie wasn't fully appreciated when it was released. Did Looker predict deepfakes? Not exactly. Deepfake technology didn't exist. Artificial intelligence didn't exist in its current form. The internet didn't exist. But what Looker predicted was something more important. It predicted that technology would eventually allow images and identities to become separate from the people they represented. That's the core idea behind modern deepfakes, not the technology itself, the concept. And that's where Michael Crichton's vision was surprisingly accurate. Even if Looker isn't a perfect movie, it's an important one. The film serves as a fascinating reminder that science fiction isn't really about predicting gadgets. It's about predicting possibilities. And sometimes the most interesting science fiction isn't the movie with the biggest special effects. Sometimes it's the movie that asks the right questions decades before everybody else. Looker did exactly that. Today we see digital influencers with millions of followers. Companies create synthetic people for advertisements. Artificial intelligence can generate realistic faces that never existed. Video technology can make people appear to say things they never said. Voice cloning can replicate someone's speech patterns. And suddenly Looker no longer feels futuristic. It feels familiar. The film wasn't trying to predict TikTok. It wasn't trying to predict YouTube. But it predicted something much more important. A world where reality itself could be recreated digitally. What's fascinating about Looker isn't the technology, it's the questions. Questions like who owns your image? Can a company use a digital version of you? Can technology replace human performers? How do we know what's real? Those questions have become major discussions in entertainment, journalism, and marketing and social media. 40 plus years later, we're still trying to answer them. One of the most interesting parts of the movie involves advertising. In Looker, companies want complete control over the people representing their products. A digital model never ages, never complains, never asks for a raise, never misses a shoot. That's a powerful business incentive. Today, companies are experimenting with many of these same ideas. The technology isn't identical, but the goal is remarkably similar. Create digital content that can be controlled, modified, and reused indefinitely. Michael Crichton saw that possibility decades ago. Now, to be fair, not everything in Looker came true. The film also features a device capable of temporarily immobilizing people using visual stimulation. That part remains firmly in science fiction territory, but even that subplot reflects a broader concern about media influence and manipulation. The movie repeatedly asks, how much power do images have over us? In today's world of algorithms, targeted advertising, and endless scrolling, that's a question worth asking. Part of the reason Looker faded from public memory is timing. It arrived before audiences were ready for its ideas. Science fiction fans in the early 1980s wanted space battles, aliens, robots, action. Looker was different. It was about digital identity, media manipulation, advertising, computer-generated people. Those concepts didn't seem urgent in 1981. Today, they're impossible to ignore. When you watch Looker today, it feels less like science fiction and more like a glimpse into the early stages of the modern internet. Not because it predicted every technological detail, it didn't. What it predicted was direction. It understood that technology would eventually blur the line between reality and representation. It understood that images would become increasingly powerful, and it understood that one day we might struggle to tell real people from digital creations. That might be the most accurate prediction of all. What makes Looker so fascinating in 2026 is how closely some of its ideas resemble the technology we use today. In the film, Digital Matrix creates computer-generated versions of real people that can be used in advertising and media without the physical person being present. Today, we have AI systems capable of generating photorealistic human faces, synthetic voices, digital avatars, AI-generated video, virtual influencers, deepfake content. In 1981, creating a convincing digital human was nearly impossible. Today, anyone with a decent computer and the right software can generate images of people who never existed, clone a voice from a short audio sample, or create videos that blur the line between reality and fiction. What's remarkable is that Looker understood that the real issue wasn't the technology itself, the real issue was trust. If technology can perfectly recreate a person's appearance, how do we know what's real? How do we verify authenticity? Who owns a digital likeness? Can someone profit from a digital version of a person? Those aren't science fiction questions anymore. They're legal, ethical, and business questions being debated right now. At the same time, there are important differences between the world of Looker and our own. The movie imagined a single company controlling this technology behind closed doors. Today's AI tools are much more accessible. Millions of people can create AI-generated images, videos, and content from their own homes. What Looker got wrong was the path. What it got right was the destination. Michael Crichton understood that as computers became more powerful, our ability to manipulate reality would grow right alongside them. More than 40 years later, we're discovering just how accurate that prediction really was. Not every science fiction movie predicts the future. Most don't. But every once in a while, a forgotten film sees something coming long before the rest of us. Looker is one of those movies. It predicted virtual influencers, it predicted synthetic media, it predicted digital identities, and it asked questions we're still debating today. That's not bad for a movie released in 1981. So what do you think? Was Looker ahead of its time? And what other movies do you think predicted the future better than anyone expected? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this look back at a forgotten piece of science fiction history, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join me next time as we continue exploring the movies, television, and technology that help shape our future. Until next time, keep watching the future. Sometimes it arrives earlier than we expect.